So because thank you to Intel, we got into the closed beta for this Back for Blood, this game by Turtle Rock. It's a 4-player co-op game that is coming up. The open beta is also in a few days. Then it's also coming on the Xbox Game Pass, which I believe will be a good thing for that game. Uh, it's, I think,
On
priced
debut,
on
Xbox Game Pass.
on
Mhm.
debut, day zero. Yeah, it's going to come out.
And will it be on the PS4 as well? Sorry if not wrong.
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
So Back for Blood, I have been a big fan of Valve's, Left 4 Dead 2, which was the first one. The Left 4 Dead 1 was made by Turtle Rock themselves. So there's a lot of people coming from that background, and they have what I feel they have managed to improve on a lot of things which needed. Left 4 Dead to bring Left 4 Dead into the modern scenario. They have put in better mechanics, better communication options, and also better graphics. And the maps are cool. We went through some of the maps. What I feel is that important is that there are certain modifiers in that game where it'll provide you with a little bit of replayability when there's a card system out there which you can create your own deck, and some people might be like, oh, I don't want to get into cards, or this might be a gateway into microtransactions and stuff. But till now they are not talking about that. Till now it's not monetized yet. You get cards, you make your own card deck, and it provides you certain buffs and bonuses depending on how you play it. And the characters themselves will have certain unique traits. Also, there's a corruption card system where there'll be something which is affecting you negatively, and that is also an interesting take on the game. Maybe it'll be like fog, where it'll not let you see quite for quite a distance, and get your strategy up to date. I really like the game. I played it for like around 6 hours, I think. With quite a few people. Got to know a little bit more about that game. Got to see the mechanics where you can scare. Crows can, birds can get scared off and call a horde.
You are
The
the
shooting is.
scarecrow उस गेम में.
You are the scarecrow, yes. And the zombie, okay, I can't call them zombies, right? It's the infected or something. And they are there. There are certain interesting varieties, but very similar to Left 4 Dead again.
Yeah.
The one guy that I liked was the one with the really big right hand, just like Jay. So he would like just stomp his hand onto certain places, and it'll be like
Wrong hand.
it'll be like a really interesting. So all those things are there. I really like the whole packaging in person, but what I feel is that in India, for priced at 3,000, on the store, it's a difficult game for 4 people or more than that to get it. On the
Is it
Xbox
coming
Game
out on
Pass,
Steam also?
yes, it's
Yeah,
coming out on
Abhishek?
Steam for 3,000. Yeah.
Okay, but on Xbox Game Pass it will be free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Apart from the subscription fee, that is.
So one question, Sushil, like most games on Xbox are on a rotation, right? So will that be the case with this game as well? Like it does.
I think this.
yeah.
I think this game will be on the rotation thing. Maybe 3 months or maybe 4 months. I feel that's how multiplayer games remain. But for example, something later on like Redfall, the one with the vampires and everything, that game will remain on the Xbox Game Pass because it's a Bethesda product. It's an
First party
RPG
games
product.
remain third party rotation पे.
Yeah.
I
But
see. Okay.
I also played वैसे like a little bit of this, like maybe 5 or 6 matches मैं खेला. मुझे बस एक चीज लगा, like the gunplay feels great, huh? Like the shooting and all feels it's not exactly Call of Duty जितना arcade-ish, but also not like Left 4 Dead जितना like Left 4 Dead थोड़े और like Counter Strike वैसा, like you don't really get to see like a lot of recoil. Counter Strike में तो है वैसे, but Left 4 Dead में उतना recoil वगैरह नहीं है. Like the guns up feel more simplistic. इसका the shooting feels great, but I also felt कि it's too similar to Left 4 Dead. When I started it ना, जैसे मैंने World War Z जब खेला था, another zombie game, तो it felt different enough. Like maybe it's because
Right.
third person था, the color palette was very different, like काफी vibrant, पूरा उसका जो flow felt very different. But इसका एक it's not a bad thing कि it's too much like Left 4 Dead. But मुझे लगा like after so many years I would like this felt like Left 4 Dead 2 again, not Left 4 Dead 3. मुझे वैसा फीलिंग आ रहा था क्योंकि एनिमी वैरायटी भी इतना कुछ डिफरेंट नहीं है, एंड द मैप्स एंड ऑल लाइक they don't look great, like they don't look bad, but ऐसा नहीं कि like oh man I loved ये वाला क्या फाड़ू था देखने में ना, like वैसा फीलिंग नहीं आता. और जैसे लेफ्ट 4 डेड में दैट रोलर कोस्टर एंड ऑल वाला जो होता है, इट जस्ट थोड़ा सा इट जस्ट स्टूड आउट इन सम वेज, विच इसमें ऐसा लगा वैसे एग्जैक्टली स्टैंड आउट मोमेंट नहीं थे. व्हेन आई वाज प्लेइंग विद फ्रेंड्स, ऑफ कोर्स हंसी मजाक हो रहा है, मजा आ रहा है, शूटिंग zombies and there are like these intense moments, you're running away and all that was a fun, but especially for 3000, like I mean this honestly I feel if even Game Pass भी मुझे लग रहा है it's like Game Pass is like the least you can do वाला वो, but honestly a game free to play होना चाहिए था, especially with the microtransaction monetization model they have, and also what this game is like it's not a paid game वाला quality. मुझे उतना तो मुझे honest, not being too critical and not saying कि like you should not pay for games that developers do not deserve money for the work they do, but if you compare it to all the games in the market, especially अभी के market में जो free to play stuff है, this is not about any of them. Almost all free to play जो PC वाले जो good free to play stuff, they beat it out of the park in every way almost. The only I don't know why this game is paid at, मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था. It's not that good. It's really fun to play. मैं वो deny नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मैं कह रहा हूँ जो price है, it does not justify it in any way. Like yeah, that was very disappointing actually when I played it, because I was very excited. Can I shit like another Left 4 Dead? I enjoyed Left 4 Dead, but I did not just want more Left 4 Dead. It just felt like that. Other than the card system, which is like not even like an active part of the game, right? Let's say passive bonuses हैं उसके through. तो वो बिल्कुल मजा नहीं आया मुझे कि ना, like if this is the unique offering and different वाला system ना, not fun.
So इसमें like do you have like these 4 characters, are they like Overwatch, like they have like different abilities?
Not specifically as such. Overwatch जितना variation तो है ही नहीं. You have these 4 characters, they have their own personalities and कुछ starting कुछ stuff है, and then you build your deck. A card deck, like you can basically you can choose like a lot of abilities na, 30% extra stamina, maybe 1 extra revive, वैसे imagine like 20 different things like this, and when you start the match now you get to draw like 1 or 2 cards from them, so you build your deck accordingly with the best things available, ताकि उसमें से जब draw होके आए तो you get stuff that actually benefits you in the game. But वो benefits are like not अगर वो नहीं भी होते ना, like I don't know, of course it makes a difference, like underlying there is a difference, but वो नहीं होते, it wouldn't really change the flow much. The flow is like reviving
change नहीं है basically.
Yeah, it's not like the fun is just a Left 4 Dead वाला fun.
Do you always start like it's PvE only, right? There's no PvP.
PvP है इसमें option. I haven't played the PvP much. PvP ऐसा है कि जैसे if you have 100 health as a human soldier, the zombies have now 600 health. And so they can वो क्योंकि melee attacks ही mostly कर सकते ना, और the special zombies are there वैसे. But I haven't heard good things also about
those zombies are then like player controlled then.
Player controlled, yeah.
Although that is like what game did they have? Evolve? Was that Turtle Rock?
But उसमें multiple Evolve में तो एक monster and 4 people hunting वाला वो ना. Like to be honest, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है I was more excited for Evolve. Like Evolve fail हो गया in a big way, but मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है visually, gameplay, the whole thing was more exciting than what I like. The idea itself, maker, of course, this will succeed more.
But that game set up the precedence. Like उसके बाद वो you had that Survive Till Dawn, what game where जो अलग-अलग villains होते हैं उसमें आते हैं.
Yeah.
That did really well.
It started a genre,
yeah. And वो Predator game आने वाला, that's gonna be similar.
Yeah.
There was this Batman.
Dead by Daylight or something, those kind of
Dead by Daylight जैसे games
is a
भी
game.
Yeah. So what I would like to, sorry, go ahead, Aish.
No, I was just going to ask questions. So in the PvE, you are always 4 people, or can it be like 3 people, 2 people team?
वो मैं sure नहीं. PvE या PvP?
PvE.
E with 4.
Yeah, when doing the campaign, if you don't fill it up, it can even you can open it up to other players joining you from the internet, or you can even like have a bot with you. So
okay.
Yeah.
And is there a campaign like single player type?
There is a single player campaign. Yes.
So there is a story to go through.
Yes, there is a story.
Is there like a meaningful story?
It's a very loose, not in that terms. What I would like to point out is that there are 2 things which work against it right now. Apart from the things that Manas has said, one is that they've already talked about the season pass, which is sometimes very difficult for people to get into. Like there have been games in the past which have prematurely talked about season passes and not done well. So I think that might affect it. And the other thing is that regarding the microtransactions, what kind of nature it will be that is not we are not sure about that yet. The replayability that they are trying to increase with the season passes and maybe the different cards and the decks, that was inherently there in games like Left 4 Dead because they had like modding support,
Yeah.
and there is no talk about modding support here yet. And maybe the modding support, since there are microtransactions involved, maybe the modding support would not be pervasive enough to fill up certain parts of the game. It will be very limited. So those things are critical for the longevity of the game. A game like this, 4-player co-op needs to be have longevity, needs to have that replayability, and needs to provide the tools to people. Otherwise, games like there are World War Z, there are Zombie Army 4, they don't do that, but they have a very different take on this whole genre. So I feel that is something that we should look out for. But Back 4 Blood, it's still in the beta. There'll be an open beta. People will be able to get it on their hands in a few days, and they'll be able to try it out. So if you're interested in the game, don't think about the negatives. Try it out, see it for yourself. It's free for now. The beta is free. So try it for yourself and form an opinion. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have the Game Pass, can you still? Okay, so beta will be only for Steam, right? Is that for the? Does it have crossplay? Sorry, I forgot to ask. Like,
Yeah, it does.
Not
Yeah,
so you can
crossplay.
play with the PlayStation person and all that
Yes.
stuff. Okay,
There's no cross
and will
progression.
the
No.
okay,
Yeah, only cross players.
okay, and will the beta be also be on the consoles like the PS4 and any idea?
वो मैं श्योर नहीं हूँ.
I'm not sure about
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Even though बीटा में क्रॉसप्ले का ऑप्शन था, तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि मल्टीपल प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे चल रहा होगा. मे बी ओपन बीटा इज ऑन मल्टीपल प्लेटफॉर्म्स.
Okay, so one final question I want to ask both of you. So, like this game seems a lot like Vermintide and Estonia, right? Like with PvE focus for people teams. So, do you think it's better than okay?
Astroneer is
But like not Estonia, you do different stuff, but you're still doing like collectively playing with like co-op, right?
एस्ट्रोनियर तो
Where
बेस
you
बिल्डिंग
play as-
स्पेस.
base building space. I think
where you have those 4 drops who are mining or
Oh,
everything.
that's
What is-
Deep
what is
Rock
what is-
Galactic.
Deep Rock, yeah.
Deep Rock
Deep Rock
Galactic,
is a
sorry,
good
yes,
comparison,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you compare it to that game after the beta, do you think it's better than or equal to that in quality?
Oh, Deep Rock
sheer
तो
minus-
way leagues above, man. Deep Rock has so much more. इसीलिए तो मैं कह रहा हूँ, like इसमें और actually Deep Rock is a good reference to take from. Like Deep Rock में जैसे there are these construction वाले stuff बीच में, you building stuff or breaking stuff, you making your way. There is not a path. You're making that path ना. तो मुझे लगता है अगर वो सब भी एलिमेंट्स होते लेफ्ट 4 डेड में, लाइक मे बी स्लाइट बिल्डिंग, और जैसे रिमेंबर एक पुराना एक गेम था क्वेक वॉर्स करके, देयर वाज अ गेम जिसमें यू वुड कंस्ट्रक्ट अ ब्रिज तो कि यू कुड क्रॉस दैट एंड गो टू द एनिमी टेरिटरी वाला. वो क्वेक वॉज एनिमी टेरिटरी करके गेम था. तो ना वैसा स्टफ वगैरह भी होता, दैट वुड हैव बीन अ लॉट मोर फन या डिफरेंट. एटलीस्ट मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है, जस्ट ऐड मोर स्टफ. द कोर इज गुड, इट्स नॉट बैड. लाइक ऐसा नहीं कि खेलने में मजा नहीं आ रहा है. मैं कह रहा हूँ जस्ट कि ऐसा लग रहा है आई प्लेड दिस 10 years ago. लाइक मैं 10 साल पहले ऐसा खेल चुका हूँ फॉर सो मेनी years में. अभी फिर से उसका लाइक दैट सेम थिंग जस्ट केम बैक, लाइक इंस्टेड ऑफ हैविंग मोर विद इट.
And in that same comparison, Deep Rock is a $30 game. Back 4 Blood is being touted as a $60 game.
Yeah.
Deep Rock goes leaps and bounds ahead in terms of replayability, in terms of the stuff that it brings to the table for 4-player co-op. Apart from the fact that you have to look out for your team members, there is not much more cooperation involved, like in the scale of Deep Rock Galactic, where actually another member needs to make a way for you in order to progress, or you need to do certain things to help them out. So those things are not there. And $60 game with a season pass, with very limited things regarding its replayability right now, I think they need to work harder on that.
I think we completely changed Sushi's opinion on this game. Like when he started, he was pretty positive.
I'm still positive. It's still if you're into Left 4 Dead, I'm saying this, but I'll still go and play it on Game Pass. I'll still tell my friends to jump in on it, and I'll want to complete the campaign. I would want to see the story through. What I'm trying to say is it's 3,000 or the price that it's worth, just like Manu said. Maybe a free-to-play game, or maybe if this was maybe a $30 game, maybe it would have been a lot better.
Then better.
Yeah.
And also like मैंने ज़्यादा तारीफ नहीं करी क्योंकि I agree with a lot of stuff Sushir also said ना, तो he also already said it. Fun है game, हाँ, like it's undoubtedly, but और चाहिए था. I'll play it, पूरा खेलूंगा मैं ये. I'll play with friends. तो
Do you guys want to talk about the other game as well? Like the embargo में, I'm not sure if Do you want to
No,
talk
we
about
can't talk
2026?
about that.
Embargo wale we can keep it for next week. Some
Yeah.
interesting stuff that we're
Okay.
playing on embargo. I got access
Okay.
to Mr. Schaefer's game.
Ah,
Ooh.
nice. That's
Finally,
nice.
yeah, finally जुगाड़ करके.
We're still waiting for it. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah. So I want to say I
Yeah.
think 23rd August को we can talk about. 25th को release हो रहा है शायद, तो 2 days ago we
Yeah.
can talk about it. But I want to
Okay.
talk about another game. Amazon's
me.
New World. ये इसका
Oh,
मैंने
yes.
I mean in exchange
How
for
new
that
is it?
तो I was very excited for this game. Like I wanted a modern MMO actually, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत सारे पुराने MMO खेले and I love it. Some of them have great stories and all. Some of them just fun to be in like a big world. ना जैसे Valhalla का जो fun है, just a massive world, just being in that ना, like MMOs offer that and also it's more active players वगैरह है. तो I and क्या बोलते हैं this one. मैंने recently वो भी खेला था Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn, which is quite good actually.
You got a copy. I think like they're not accepting any new players now, right? Final Fantasy 14. That's the game.
Oh, वो temporary था वो,
Where they're
because there
running
was
out of. अच्छा.
there was a bulk. हाँ, वो temporary, I think they must have sorted it out. But उससे just पहले मैं घुस गया था वैसे. तो anyways, but even Final Fantasy 14 is like tap targeting वाला वो ना, like you tapping on screen to play to like attack the enemy. You have to tap on the enemy तो जाके उसको attack करेगा. Like
Right.
New World was more like Valhalla wala combat, but it's एक तो when I started it, of course the first intro tutorial wala thing, lighting and all looks good, but even then you can see the art is not like very dense or anything. Just if you look at any other game with like a lot of dense environments, are like okay, this is like a carefully built वो the dense environments are only like in the main hubs and cities, या फिर किसी कभी caves वगैरह में थोड़ा ठीक है देखने में. The combat is terrible man, like it's so bad. I cannot, मतलब मैं enough बुराई नहीं कर सकता उस combat की. जैसे I mean Valhalla में already like the combat is not the best, right? Like it's थोड़ा मतलब floaty सा है, बहुत ज़्यादा weight वगैरह नहीं है. This is much worse, like 10 times worse than that. बहुत ही बर्बाद है. The reason I think this will work better than like any other MMO, like not कि this is better than most games, but MMO से compare करो तो at least चलो this is like direct combat, not tap targeting और कुछ नहीं. You're actually directly जैसे Neverwinter जो MMO है वैसा ही है. You're directly attacking with powers and abilities, swords and all. It looks bad also. मुझे believe नहीं, like trailers and all look quite good. Some of the regions and all look good. बट बहुत ब्लैंड, ऐसा लग रहा है कोई आर्ट स्टाइल है ही नहीं इस गेम में. लाइक नो आर्ट स्टाइल, नथिंग. आई दिस जेन्युइनली मुझे लग रहा है दे वुड हैव गॉन विद एन आर्ट स्टाइल, इट वुड हैव लुक्ड अ लॉट बेटर. तो एंड आर्ट स्टाइल भी खास नहीं है, स्टोरी भी कुछ खास नहीं है. आई थिंक द गुड पार्ट ऑफ दिस इज व्हेन यू एक्चुअली गो टू अ टाउन ना, एक तो सिंस इट्स न्यू, इट्स एक तो पैक्ड एंड दे हैव बिल्ट अ लॉट ऑफ सिस्टम्स अराउंड PvP स्टफ एंड सोशल एलिमेंट. जैसे you're building, you're actually significantly contributing towards like building up a town and a village in a way कि ना उसके reinforcements, strongholds and all अच्छे से build होके आ रहे हैं. And then eventually 50 versus 50 वाले territory wars वगैरह होते हैं, which will be fun. But again, the social stuff and the trading wala stuff and the economy stuff, like you get extra items, you crafting them. The crafting is well done actually, very well done, very easy to understand. And also I want to say the menus are very well done for an MMO, like very easy to understand and get into. मुझे लग रहा है यही सारे रीजन है कि ना ये गेम शायद चल सकती है, even though it's not a good game, but it's easy to get into. And किसी को अगर MMO के options नहीं है अभी के टाइम में, like a western MMO थोड़ा modernized look and feel के साथ, I mean look and feel as in just very optically, not कि it's actually good, not good modernized ना, visually फाड़ू नहीं है, technically no way good, the combat doesn't actually feel good, but easy to get into वाले वे में ये चल जाएगा. But like and मैं इतनी बुराई भी इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि आई वेरी एक्साइटेड फॉर दिस. लाइक मैंने इसको प्री ऑर्डर किया ताकि इसका बीटा का एक्सेस मिले, तो आई डोंट वांट कि ना मैं ऐसी फालतू में बुराई, एंड मे बी इट गेट्स ग्रेट 100 hours later. एंड अगर ऐसा है तो मैं ये भी नहीं बोलूंगा कि ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए. काफी नॉट ऑल गेम्स आर फॉर एवरीवन. मे बी देयर आर पीपल जो एक्चुअली वो 100 hours का ग्राइंड करके दे हैव द पेशेंस टू सी द एंड वाला स्टफ, एंड मे बी दैट्स ऑसम. तो मे बी दिस गेम इज नॉट फॉर मी. तो इसलिए मैं ज्यादा भी कंप्लेन नहीं करूंगा. आई विल से लुक एट अदर रिव्यूज. काफी रिव्यूज आए लाइक आफ्टर 180 hours of playing, after 200 hours of playing. Maybe see that and make a decision ki is this game for you. Like do you want a game जिसमें you maybe have to play like 100 or 50-60 hours and then before it gets any good वाला वो. तो if that's up to you वो है. What I actually want to talk about is जब मैं wait, if you have any questions ask, because I moved on from this very
नहीं, I think what you're saying is right. Like MMORPGs में like end game is a big part, right? Like that is supposed to be something like that is supposed to be what the actual game is for a lot of people. Like
and also ये
that
same
kind
you
of
say
happens in
this
Destiny
about
2.
a lot of Destiny 2 live service games, Destiny Division में भी ऐसा है ना, but also like the journey to the end game is also a lot of fun, right? Because that is what everybody sees. तो या तो ऐसा करो कि you start with the end game and then put the boring stuff later. Like why would you put like 60 or 30 hours of like boring content in the front? ना जैसे आयुष like when I played Destiny, क्या मजा आता है Destiny 2 खेलने में. We played Division, that was so much fun, and the end game is then more fun. That is what keeps you going. That is where the live service thing kicks in. But the journey to the end game has to be fun, right? इसमें वो तो बिल्कुल नहीं feel. It's so bland.
So if you had to pick between like Final Fantasy 14 and like a New World, like
Final Fantasy without question, man. Like क्योंकि मैंने तो after getting disappointed with New World, मैंने immediately उसको refund भी कर दिया. मैं कहा ये तो मुझे maybe and the thing is मैंने वो refund जो money जो that came back into Steam मैंने उसको कहीं use नहीं किया है, thinking कि जैसी this thing क्या बोलते हैं ये release होगा, I will of course खरीद लूंगा यार मैं because I do want to play more of this.
This is releasing on Steam, is it? Like not through Amazon. Like Amazon की भी game service है ना खुद की, like with their they have their own game store with Twitch, right?
Maybe they do, but मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है for matchmaking purposes maybe they'll नहीं वैसे हो सकता है. Maybe you can buy directly off Amazon, but Steam पे ये 1500 रुपए का, not even very expensive when you compare it to Back 4 Blood, like a live service game. But again, Back 4 Blood 1,000 times more worth it than this thing for me वैसे. लेकिन ये मैंने रिफंड करके देना बस. लाइक यार आई हैड दैट एमएमओ वाला इच्छा, मुझे कुछ तो खेलना है लाइक जो एमएमओ अच्छा हो. आई इंस्टॉल्ड अ बंच ऑफ दिस, नेवरविंटर एंड फाइनल फैंटेसी 14, SWTOR, स्टार वॉर्स द ओल्ड रिपब्लिक, लाइक ऑल फ्री, सबके फ्री अकाउंट्स बनाए. फाइनल फैंटेसी 14 तो काफी सही है, लाइक द स्टोरी, द म्यूजिक, दैट सेंस ऑफ प्लेस एंड ऑल काफी बढ़िया है. कॉम्बैट अगेन टैप टारगेटिंग है, कुड बी फॉर यू, मे नॉट बी फॉर यू. नेवरविंटर तो डायरेक्ट एक्शन वाला वो है, एंड इट्स ऑल्सो फ्री एंड लुक्स क्वाइट गुड एक्चुअली. तो नेवरविंटर भी ऐसे मैंने थोड़ा खेला एंड ठीक है, फन एक्शन, गुड एक्शन, लुक्स गुड. नेवरविंटर लुक्स मच बेटर, फ्री गेम है, लुक्स मच बेटर देन न्यू वर्ल्ड वैसे. हाँ, बट देन आई एंडेड अप समहाउ प्लेइंग SWTOR, स्टार वॉर्स द ओल्ड रिपब्लिक, जो फ्री है ऑन स्टीम, एंड आई हैड हर्ड अ लॉट ऑफ गुड थिंग्स बट आई डिडंट नो हाउ ग्रेट इट इज. लाइक आई डोंट नो अगर कंसोल पे है कि नहीं. दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बायोवेयर आरपीजीज यूल एवर प्ले. एंड मैंने अभी रिसेंटली मास इफेक्ट का रीमास्टर जो खेला था मैंने, इट्स बेटर देन दैट. इट्स मच, मुझे तो लगता है उसका गेम प्ले भी बेटर है. इट तो लुक्स ऑसम. आई एम नॉट अ स्टार वॉर्स फैन ऑल्सो, लाइक आई एम इन फैक्ट आई डू नॉट एंजॉय ये स्टार वॉर्स मार्वल वाला, ये सब आई डोंट एंजॉय दिस मच. दिस जेन्युइनली जस्ट ब्लू माई माइंड कि मैं क्या देख रहा हूँ ये. लाइक सो यू कैन स्टार्ट ऑफ with 8 characters. All 8 characters have entirely different starting areas, entirely different campaigns, and entirely different stories. Different companions, different romances. It's not just starting areas. The whole thing you go through is totally different. जो वो है. तो मैंने एक शुरू किया as a सबसे पहले आई प्लेड एज अ नॉर्मल क्या बोलते हैं, वन द गुड गाइस, नॉर्मल गुड गाई सोल्जर. तो उसमें देयर वाज स्टोरीज अराउंड क्या बोलते हैं उसे,
Jedi.
नॉट अ जेडाई, द सोल्जर. पता ही नहीं, आई डोंट नो. दैट्स हाउ लिटिल आई नो अबाउट स्टार वॉर्स वैसे.
Stormtroopers.
Maybe a stormtrooper, maybe वैसा कुछ था. But Havoc Squad का part 2 में, that's what all I remember. Part of the Havoc Squad.
It's part of the Commandos then.
Commandos then, yeah, Republic Commandos. Oh, it's part of the Republic, yeah. तो वो उसका ना, तो उसमें like starting में there are these side missions where these people are fighting over medicine. Like a guy, एक मिलिट्री वाला बंदा is asking me help, कि यार these somebody stole my medicines and my soldiers are dying. And you go, you find out कि the medicines are now being used in a refugee camp. तो who do you help? Refugee camp में भी लोग मर रहे हैं, soldiers are also dying. Like, and who do you think has a better chance of getting a backup of the medicine? Like अगर medicine इनका चोरी हो गया है, who has a better chance? Refugees or the soldiers who have a entire government behind them? Helping them ना. वैसे तो you make these kind of choices. ये पहला वो कैंपेन था, ये मैंने थोड़ा सा खेला. Then I thought I'll try the other side, the dark side वाला कैंपेन. Dude, that is insanely cool. And I'm not even like feeling for it. वो dark Sith Vader कह रहा हूँ, क्या बोलते हैं, Darth Vader and ये सब का like मुझे इतना कुछ वो है नहीं. But एक तो the art on display, like again not a Star Wars fan, just as game art on display, dude क्या देख रहा हूँ मैं, like massive scale पे Star Wars का ना, like the best Star Wars game. Battlefront वगैरह तो कुछ, Jedi Fallen Order तो कुछ नहीं है इसके सामने, with the story that is going on here, the art that has been put into it. The only, I think the struggle is again tap targeting combat है, but the combat is good, with a lot of strategy and depth also in it. But the story is like इसमें the second campaign that I started playing on the dark side, उसमें तो you're deceiving people left and right. You are an imperial agent, you're like a spy infiltrating another like a planet, infiltrate करके वहाँ का you kind of trying to destabilize the entire economy there. You're trying to bring down the entire leadership. So you're working your way up. So one of the guys you kind of try to break down on the way is like a good guy, like a he's with the villains, but as a guy is a good. उसके 2 बच्चे हैं. 2 of his sons are coming back, like they're out in space somewhere किसी और planet पे, they're coming back. And what happens is कि जो imperial, I'm the imperial agent ना, one of the imperial some imperial soldiers kill the sons. Imperial soldier भी नहीं, somebody क्या बोलते, who are the thing that nobody has any control over वाला वो था, Sith
mercenaries.
But a particular named thing in Star Wars, we don't have a lot of control over what they do.
Mandalorian.
Not Mandalorian even, but कुछ तो था यार, वही मुझे पता नहीं है ना इसका.
Mandalorian तो पता होता मानस को. अगर
हाँ
वो
हाँ,
term
Mandalorian mention होता तो I
पता.
would have known वैसे. But anyway, so somebody from like the
Bounty hunters.
not bounty hunters, but maybe one of the bounty hunters. Not sure, but anyway, so कोई तो आके ना इनको मार देता, like, but the thing is कि they are on like the Darth Vader वाला side of things. कि नहीं, they बुरे लोग हैं, तो they kill इसके sons. Now the problem is कि like I am also one of those guys only on a larger scale. I'm not directly them, but I'm part of them, right? I'm part of the dark side. तो these and ये जो planet पे जो बंदे, they already don't trust मुझ जैसे लोग, but I have kind of infiltrated. तो मुझे क्या करना, now I have to plant evidence to show कि the Republic soldiers killed this guy, and I also have to convince. But the thing is, मैंने ये plant evidence वगैरह plant कर दिया, but the guy finds out कि ना like it's one of the imperial वाला people who killed his sons. एक son मर गया, एक जिंदा है. Now I have to leverage that and say कि एक तो तेरा बेटा मर गया है, but if you want the other kid to stay alive, either I'll kill you, you fight me and you die, or you shut up and you leave this place forever, like you don't come back. And as you had to make that choices, and you can, you know, and you have to now decide what is like the kinder choice. वो Paragon Renegade वाले scale पे ना, out of this, and उसमें then you have a companion who does not approve of any kind choice you make. Your companion is like a full-on asshole. वो already like she's one of the, and different companions in different campaigns, so entirely different kind of play styles you're going through. क्या बनाया है ये game, like the Old Republic. I was so happy to see कि चलो मेरा MMO thirst is getting quenched, and plus I'm playing this like a single player game. मैं किसी के साथ नहीं खेल रहा हूँ, अकेले खेल रहा हूँ. द स्टोरी इज एब्सोल्युटली हुकिंग मी. थोड़ा गलत टाइम पे खेल रहा हूँ मैं, क्योंकि दिस क्वाइट मैसिव, एज मैंने सुना है कि 80 घंटे का पूरा वो है. एंड ऑल्सो द ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम लाइक व्हेन यू स्टार्ट द गेम, एक स्टार्टर प्लैनेट पे यू स्पेंड लाइक 5-6 आवर्स देयर. Startup, it's like Valhalla, like पहले 5-6 घंटे लगते हैं to get done with the intro, but it's quite good, like lots of side missions in that area, lots of main quests, and then there's a massive transition where you actually get into like the Imperial fleet, and fleet से you go to the next planet where the story now starts really getting fleshed out. मैंने 3 try किए, all of it, 3 campaigns में I saw 6 locations in like the first 5 hours. इतना variety था. I mean, so 6 locations as in 2 locations per campaign वैसे ना, like starter planet and the next area वाला, वो very very well done man. मैं कह रहा like किसी को अगर अच्छा story वाला game चाहिए, this is what you're looking for.
So Manas, this is already a 10-year-old game, right?
10-year-old game.
It's a 10-year-old game.
Yeah, it looks great, हाँ, for a 10-year. Great क्या मैं तो बोलूँगा, अभी भी फाड़ू लग रहा है देखने में. Because they went with a World of Warcraft, a Fortnite style art style, which was I think one of the criticisms back in the day. But now that I look at it, अच्छा हुआ ऐसा art style था, क्योंकि if they would have gone for anything, हाँ, aged well, जैसे है ना, a lot of these games उस time में they look great, but अभी it doesn't look that good. This aged absolutely fine. Like ये आज निकलेगा with just थोड़ा different lighting change कर दो, it looks awesome. Still,
what I just wanted to know, I've seen the game, I've heard people talk about it. What does the subscription bring in? Like,
तो सब्सक्रिप्शन में क्या होता है, बट इसका सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल थोड़ा चिंदी है वैसे. बेसिकली इफ यू डोंट सब्सक्राइब ना, तो यू कांट स्प्रिंट टिल यू लेवल 10. तो ऐसे छोटे छोटे चीजें हैं, यू गेट इट, ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. सम ऑफ द स्प्रिंटिंग एंड बट देयर इज अ फास्ट ट्रैवल वाला ऑप्शन. क्वाइट फास्ट ट्रैवल का द गुड थिंग इज कि यू कैन फास्ट ट्रैवल व्हेन यू आर इन अ जोन विदाउट डिस्कवरिंग ऑल द अदर फास्ट ट्रैवल पॉइंट्स. यू कैन फास्ट ट्रैवल वैसे क्वाइट इजीली, एंड देन यू कैन डिस्कवर मोर अलॉन्ग द वे टू गेट वो. बट काफी जगह मेन क्वेस्ट वगैरह के लिए मूव अराउंड करना ईजी है. एंड द थिंग इज इट्स सो डेंस एंड सो मेनी एनिमीज की since you cannot sprint now, you're actually having to fight a lot of enemies starting with. That actually gets you to level 10 quite easily. तो वो भी है. There are problems, कुछ issues है, but it's not too bad.
Is the fast travel paid like in the old?
No, not paid वैसे. Just click and you get there. काफी cool है उसका fast travel is. It's not click and you get there, you teleport वाला वो. You click, when you click now, you immediately get on like a vehicle, and that vehicle kind of zooms past all the areas. You get to see a lot of pop-ups, textures popping in, and then you get to the जो actual mission वाले area wherever you're going. It's dense, man. Like the art they have, मुझे लगा ये क्या, like, of course it must be a high budget game. Free में I was surprised कि सर this is a $60 game, more than actually, yeah, with like 8 entirely different campaigns. In one of them, like एक में मैं Imperial spy हूँ, एक में I'm just a soldier, एक में I can play as a smuggler, एक में I'm a bounty hunter, एक में I can play as a sorcerer. Like है ना, like sorcerer is not just a class wise, like it's the entirely different story also with each of them. Very well done. Like BioWare का the best work, man. I cannot believe कि मैंने इतने सालों से ये खेला नहीं था. It's so good.
Man, since we are on the topic of that, MMOs and stuff like that, what I want to ask in the context of New World, like all the previous MMORPG or other games that we have seen, usually have a very subscription model because it's supposed to be a live service continuing
Yeah.
game. They need to keep adding content to it, level gates and stuff like that. More equipment, more content, more places to visit. Does Amazon New World right now have that kind of thing? Because Amazon New World is a paid game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does it have a subscription model?
अभी तो नहीं है, नो सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल एज ऑफ येट. मुझे लग रहा है लेकिन इवेंचुअली अगर लॉन्ग रन में इफ इट हैज टू सर्वाइव एज एन एमएमओ, या तो बैटल पास जैसा कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट आ जाए. बट ऑल्सो बैटल पास विथ इट्स फन बिकॉज लाइक वो मोमेंट टू मोमेंट राउंड बेस्ड वो रिपीटेशन इज व्हाट मेक्स इट इजी. लाइक बैटल रॉयल हो या कुछ ना, लाइक बैटल पास इन एन एमएमओ, आई डोंट नो हाउ वेल इट विल वर्क. चल भी सकता है, बट न्यू वर्ल्ड हैज एंटायरली डिफरेंट इश्यूज.
Currently, the name escapes me, but I think there is a game that is doing like this season. It's also like an MMO type, but at the end of that season, like all of these clans fight among each other. It's like a raid, battle of cities kind of a thing. Recently got released, and I thought
अच्छा ये निकल गया है.
I think
इट्स एन एमएमओ.
MMO टाइप का ही है. I don't remember क्या कहते हैं कि what the name of the game was. Let me look it up.
ओके, क्योंकि जैसे गिल्ड वॉर्स इट्स नॉट एग्जैक्टली, वैसे आई विल ऑल्सो रिकमेंड गिल्ड वॉर्स 2, हाँ, लाइक अ डिसेंट स्टोरी फ्री टू प्ले एमएमओ. मुझे लग रहा है यार अमेजॉन न्यू वर्ल्ड का ना मेन एडवांटेज इज लाइक इट डजंट हैव टैप टारगेटिंग. लाइक ऑल ऑफ दीज अदर वंस व्हिच आर गुड, फाइनल फैंटेसी, गिल्ड वॉर्स एंड इवन वर्ल्ड ऑफ वॉरक्राफ्ट तो ठीक है वैसे, इट्स नॉट बैड वैसे. एंड दिस वन स्टार वॉर्स में सब में टैप टारगेटिंग है, which a lot of people, and also tap targeting console पे transition करना मुश्किल है ना, like you need a cursor mouse pointer to do that tap targeting वाला thing. Yeah, but that's the main stuff that I played आजकल. ज़्यादा कुछ और मिल नहीं रहा था मुझे, but अब मिल गया वैसे. More games have now come out.
But we can't talk about them.
Yeah. Ayush, what have you been playing?
So following on the theme of like playing older games, I've been going through my backlog of all the games that I've been collecting. So I finished Valhalla as much as I can. I picked up Plague Tale of Innocence. I think that's a Plague Tale Innocence. That's the correct name. So picked up that. That's pretty good actually. I was not expecting it to be that good. Like visually, mechanically, story wise, I wasn't expecting it to be. It was almost AAA material, I would say, like pretty much up there. Visually, everything like that's the kind of game I like to play. I would say like the stealth. When they were doing stealth, we were doing proper stealth, and I was like kind of surprised like by the entire curve in it. Like the game starts off with a stealth game, but ends up being an action game. And I love that complete progression there. So Plague Tale is what I've been playing. Apart from that, now once I was done with this game from Focus Interactive, I picked up Vampyr. That's a different story. It's a more fleshed out RPG. I'm just starting off in it, but then I went back to Plague Tale because I wanted to get a platinum on it. So just finishing up the trophies there.
Actually, you finished the story. It's Plague Tale mein.
Yeah, I finished this. Plague Tale, so yeah, I finished the story. Towards the end, it felt like a little longer. The chapters went on for a bit.
Okay.
But towards the end, like I think personally, whenever you're nearing the story, you kind of get this feeling, yaar, ab khatam ho jaye. Like, okay, this should be the end. This should be the end kind of a experience. But overall, it's a good game. No complaints. I would highly recommend it. If you've not played it, it's probably free for you on the platform you play right now. If you have PS Plus, it's probably in your library. If you, it's currently free on the Epic. I'm not sure.
Free
It
everything.
was recently free on the Epic Store, so if you got a chance to that, so there is no excuse for you not play it.
Yeah.
I think play it. It's something I would recommend to.
Yeah. From the
And
makers
regard,
of Flight Simulator वैसे हैं Sobo Studios.
yeah.
Hmm.
Just a point in because you talked about that game fatigue. I'll just like to mention out of my head my favorite games that even after playing like so many hours, game fatigue did not set in was Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Witcher 3. Like those games were
Hmm.
like I did not want them to end.
Yeah.
Like when
Hmm.
Witcher 3 ended, I was like, oh my god, when is the DLC going to release? So that was what was going on in my head. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely it sometimes sets in. Like of course it happens in the case like I was in the case of Valhalla. Game fatigue sets in a little bit, and you want to see the end of the game, a good part, get the whole present wrapped up in a good bow.
Yeah.
It does not happen. So
Yeah. I agree, man. But yeah, I think it wasn't fatigue. I just want to roll crates on a game mostly. Honestly speaking, like I think like मेरे लिए कोई भी गेम होना चाहे वो 5 घंटे का हो 4 घंटे का हो या फिर 30 घंटे का हो the end like the last 10% of that it feels like a slog. I stopped collecting collectibles. I stopped doing everything. I just like laser focus straight सीधा path होना चाहिए एकदम खत्म करना है मुझको. I want to see how it ends basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's me playing Vampire. I, the
How far
game this
into
month was
Vampire are you?
weren't so
Like,
good.
do you like
First
it?
chapter,
अच्छा पहला chapter
just
है.
finished the prologue. बस finish the prologue. थोड़ा थोड़ा basic है यार वो combat wombat थोड़ा उसने like it's not as twitchy as I would like to be. Like थोड़ा like uh, when you have these games right where you have the dodge mechanic and the parry mechanic. तो उसमें ना reactiveness is very important. Like थोड़ा सा it should feel very reactive.
Yeah.
Which I feel focus wale games not they don't do so well.
Yeah.
Thoda spiders and all that, like it's like a consistent problem with them. Technomancer or like Bound by Flames, उनके सारे games जो ऐसे तो थोड़ा सा वो combat RPG में especially थोड़ा
Yeah.
वो floaty रहता है. So I'm just trying to get used to that.
and before we end this games we are playing section, before we end it, I just want to drop in a little thing. Take Two Interactive, the parent company
Oh
behind
yeah.
2K, Rockstar, and everything, they have had they are going to 6 remakes, remasters, or whatever they want to call it. They're going to be 6 games out in the next 2 years. 3 of them have already been announced. One is the GTA 5 enhanced and expanded edition. The other is the standalone GTA Online that is going to come out. The other one is Kerbal Space Program for the consoles, the next generation consoles. But 3 games are still unannounced. And I just wanted to know your opinions. I don't know how many people are interested in it, but I just wanted to know you guys' opinions about what you think those three. What is your wish
NBA
list?
NBA 2K16.
Uh,
Finally,
uh,
a remaster of that.
Uh, Finally a remastered.
Yeah, we're strictly
NBA
talking
2K12.
remasters, remakes, right? Like,
yeah, you strictly talking remasters, remakes. Yes, it's not a new franchisee.
Yeah.
It's going to be a remaster remake. And let me tell you, they've already done with. I suppose, hope so. They're already done with Bioshock.
yeah,
They've enhanced it. They've already done
Bioshock
with.
remaster, remaster.
yeah.
They're also done with
Yeah.
the Mafia trilogy, with Mafia 1 earning a complete remake. So that is there. But then, of course, there are some games that are remaining. There's the Borderlands series. I don't know whether they would want to remake, like remaster that or something like that, because Borderlands 3 is kind of like a live service thing right now. And then, with games like Red Dead Redemption 1, which like people just want it. They want it. And like the
Bro,
entire game can actually be recreated in the Red Dead Redemption 2.
undead nightmare. That's
Oh,
what I like.
damn it!
Yeah.
That was a mod. Uh,
Yeah.
and that is there. And of course, the one that we don't talk about in this age of cancel culture and wokeness is Bully.
Bully.
We don't talk about it. But what are
It's such a
your
good game though, Bully.
Yeah.
Like when I
but
played
it's
it,
it's very difficult to get it made in this age. Like I don't think it'll just, the optics of it
Yeah,
is
there
something
is.
that people will not accept, maybe.
Yeah, there is also the GTA remake, right? Like
Okay.
you have Liberty City, City, right? Or Vice City, and
Hmm.
what's the other one? Liberty, what?
San
Liberty City
Andreas,
again.
San
San
Andreas is there.
Andreas.
Hmm.
GTA
Yeah.
3, Vice
So
City, San
those
Andreas.
three.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So those three can be bundled up into a remake, like just like the trilogy Mafia. I
Yeah,
think the one and two are like top down. They're a little too different from the like the typical GTA that comes to your mind. But that's also a trilogy. I think that can come and get remastered, and there is a lot of content in there.
yeah,
It can be something like the Master Chief Collection, like just Vice City releases with all the DLC, like the Ballad of Gay Tony and all that stuff coming out in chunks. That I think that's a pretty good possibility.
yeah. नहीं वैसे
And
सेम इवन आई वुड लाइक टू सी एक्चुअली GTA 4 अगर रिमास्टर या रीमेक होके आ जाए विद GTA 5
Hmm.
के ग्राफिक्स एंड थोड़ा ड्राइविंग वाले मैकेनिक्स लाइक दैट या फिर
Hmm.
वैसे बुली इज अ गुड वन आई वुड लव टू सी अ बुली रीमेक और अ रिमास्टर बट लाइक सुशी से थोड़ा टफ भी हो सकता है बट आई थिंक दे हैव टू इवेंचुअली एंड अप डूइंग बुली 2 राइट तो मे बी बुली 2 करेंगे तो बुली का रिमास्टर आल्सो मेक सेंस लेट पीपल सी द फर्स्ट वन एंड रेड डेड तो यार आई थिंक
Hmm.
हैज लाइक द मोस्ट
आना ही
ऑब्वियस
चाहिए.
या उसका उन्होंने ऑलरेडी मैप पूरा कर दिया है तो व्हाई नॉट लोग भी डाल दो उसमें और स्टोरी कनेक्ट कर दो
uh,
Hmm.
like, again, what I feel is that maybe GTA, the thing, even though I want it, like I especially want to go back to Grove Street, San Andreas, but the thing about GTA is I feel that remaking or remastering them would take the crowd away from GTA Online, and that is not something that maybe they would want right now.
बट वो
Taking
स्टोरी
that
करते
crowd.
जस्ट आई मीन द गेम विल सेल अ बंच ऑफ कॉपीज काफी लोग पूरा तो खेलेंगे नहीं
Hmm.
फिर से they'll go back to playing GTA online तो they make money also
It can also act as a funnel though, like
yeah
just like you, if you pick up like GTA 4 a remake and then you get hooked to that GTA lifestyle
yeah
and then play
yeah
GTA role play on GTA Online.
yeah
And one game that is not their IP, but they bought the rights to
Aliens,
it.
aliens,
They-
aliens, Colonial Marines, Space Marines, what was
they bought the rights to it from another big developer at that point of time. It's from Remedy, and
oh
it's Max Payne.
oh
Take Two
yeah
Interactive actually owns the rights to Max Payne.
1 2 also
Uh,
do uh
yes, to the entire IP. Yes.
okay
do they remake the third one? Just the third one. Like I am a little against. I like the third, to be honest. Like
yeah
I played it. Obviously, I played it, but I really like the change in color palette and like the change in tone that they've done, and the change in like the Max Payne character. But like obviously, people panned it critically, and that kind of shut the door on the franchise completely. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that game being remade, like all the three games together, maybe.
yeah yeah
Also, Bully might sound risky, but the game that sounds the riskiest, and maybe some of us might have played it back in the past. It's called Manhunt. That is a part.
Might as well,
That's a book
might as
that
well be
Rockstar.
Coastal.
That's a part of the book that Rockstar doesn't want to talk about.
yeah
Manhunt is. I don't think it'll get a remaster or remake of any kind. Good game, by the way.
yeah
If anybody,
I've seen it
I
I've never
haven't
played
played.
it
it
Yeah.
is, for the lack of a better word, it was like at that point of time the most brutal game that I'd played, with torture and everything other. Some things which will not go down well today. All of that involved. Like if a scene like in GTA 5 where they torture a person to speak up, right? If that could generate so much controversy, I mean, Manhunt will be a dumpster fire.
yeah torture was cooler in the 90s man come on
Yeah. uh, yeah, I think
Anyways,
that brings up to the end of our games we are playing and we are
yeah.
expecting.
yeah
Yeah, and if you missed any games, like put them in the comments. We'll probably reply to them whenever we get the time. We've been pretty back behind on basically replying to comments. I'm going to sit down one day and just reply to all of them in the last 2 weeks and say
Uh,
something salty and hope they don't.
I've made quite a number of new friends through comments.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I found someone who agrees with me, and he said like, "I agree with everything I used to say, so I'm going to personally reach out to him and be friend,
Uh,
make friends on
I
Facebook
was
and all.
thinking that it was you from a different account. I was like,
all
आयुष के
all of
साथ
that
कौन
is
agree कर रहा है?
all of that is me. All of those comments are me from a different account.
Uh,
All right, guys. I think it's time to call a wrap on this one, right?
okay.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. And if you liked what you saw or what you hear, give us a 5-star rating on the different podcast channels that you're on. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like, share, and subscribe. If you want to get in touch with us, send us an email at editor@gameffine.com or reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And that's it from us. Until next time, this is Ayush and the team saying bye.
Bye bye.